outro is that?
Welcome to another episode of Challie and the Boys. I am your host, Stephen Chalico, and joined with me tonight, thankfully, once again, are both of the co-hosts, Will and Stash. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Celebrate good time.
We good?
Okay. All right. Awkward. Um,
Huh?
so we just did
Okay.
our Week 8 picks. All three of us predicted the Dallas Cowboys to win. But I guess before we get to the Week 8 matchup, um, Stash, do you have any specific notes or takeaways from the Week 7 win against the Lions?
I mean, it went pretty much according to plan, pretty much kind of what we've seen from the past few weeks, but just a nice team win. That's what I took from that. And I got something for you later. Just seeing if you, I got a question for you to see if you will finally have a change of heart.
Is this about the roughing the passer call?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
You did get
I
defensive
was
about that, yeah.
1,000% sure that's what it was going to be. Will,
Nope.
what about you? Anything you have? I know it was a pretty
Real
lackluster
quick.
game, but
Real quick, I did like how you said that we all picked the Cowboys to beat the Bears, but you didn't go back on it and say that me and Stash picked the Cowboys to beat the Lions, but you picked the Lions to beat the Cowboys. So I'd just like you to own up to that real quick. You know what I mean? Just so the people all know. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know why you have to say that. It's not like I was like, oh, I never made that pick. Yeah,
I just want okay.
So would you have been surprised if the Lions won? I mean,
Yes.
they only put up a field goal in the first half.
However the
They
game turned out.
also really struggled in the third quarter. They
Yeah.
put up 14 points in the fourth quarter, which is obviously good, and they won. But it's not like Dallas manhandled Detroit.
You picked the Lions to win,
Mm-hmm.
but would you have been surprised if Detroit beat the Cowboys?
No.
I mean, I know you picked them, but like, were you expecting that, or you just thought it was a good chance?
No, yeah, I guess I thought there was a pretty good chance they could win. I mean, considering if they had DeAndre Swift played, right? Like, I wasn't sure of the injury status of him. We were not aware that Amon-Ra St. Brown would get a concussion in the middle of the game, right? Not that Jared Goff's some fucking world beater, but they did, prior to yesterday, have the third highest scoring offense in the league. With a really good rushing attack. So
Yeah.
Dallas not being able to really stop the run on a consistent basis. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good chance that they just lose that kind of game.
That's fair. So with that being said, on the Lions, I actually did not watch the game. We didn't come in here. I did watch multiple, I guess, highlights and chunks of the game, on the YouTubes and on the TVs. And I did, go off of what I saw or listened to on the radio and on the YouTube and on the Twitch and on the Odyssey app and stuff, all the people. So, I don't know. I expected it to be a win too. I expected it to be, I guess, a little bit more easy. And maybe be the same score, but that be the score like maybe in the third quarter, and they just kind of run the ball out or something. You know what I mean? Kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's I think it's a big loss that Jordan Lewis got hurt. I think that shouldn't be understated, and I don't know if we plan on going into that or not, but I think that was not good.
We absolutely can. I would push back a little bit that it's a big deal, right? Like, not that Deron Bland or whoever ultimately ends up taking a spot right now, it looks like it's going to be Deron Bland is going to, 100% fill his shoes. I think where the issue comes in is if they get another injury at cornerback, because that's when you start seeing the Nashawn Wrights or Kelvin Joseph taking more snaps than what I guess we really want, especially considering Kelvin Joseph's taken like 2 defensive snaps, if that. Nashawn Wright's been a healthy scratch all year, maybe with save one game. So I think for now it's not going to be so bad. I think it'll actually be. I don't think you'll really notice, quite honestly. I think you'll notice if you get another injury, but you could also say that about a lot of other positions.
Just real quick, you still would want to see Joseph should get some snaps in this game, right?
Yes.
Why this game
Even if it's like
specifically?
5 or just because Bland doesn't need to play them all.
Yeah.
But like I'm not saying 1 million, but like I don't know, like around 10 snaps or so, 5-10 snaps on defense. I don't know what the magic number is.
I'm not opposed to him being the dude to get the majority of the snaps prior to Bland. I mean, I'm not a scout or a coach, obviously, so I'm just assuming that because they're all saying that Kelvin Joseph isn't ready or Deron Bland's a better player, like I just assume that's accurate. If he were the one to come out and get the majority of snaps, I would have no issue until he proved on the field that he just could not handle that.
Okay.
Which,
I mean, at some point, your second round pick has to do something more than special teams. So, and you have to figure out if he can do that.
and he's pretty undisciplined
that's
too.
That's kind of why I was asking, for that exact reason.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to learn. If you got to see what you have. I mean, at the end of last year, he was playing okay until he got in the limited snaps he had there. Coming off the injury, he looked okay. This year, he didn't take the step he really was hoping for. But the other three weren't really. He wasn't getting the playing time there because of the other three guys. So you're hoping he shows some improvement.
Yeah.
Because his preseason was not good.
Yeah, it was pretty subpar. Him and Nahshon Wright, right?
That's how Bland skipped him, right? It's because he played good, and they didn't. Even if they played just average, Bland played so good that he skipped them on the.
Yeah, right? There was no Jason Garrett chart of the veterans there, and he's gonna have the spot. It's best player moved up the depth chart. Just the veterans now special teams guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see this weekend. I mean, this weekend's. Well, they're sitting Zeke this weekend for the sprained MCL.
I still haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I didn't see that confirmed yet.
Okay, once we get done here, I'll send it to you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, here, whatever.
I saw there was talk of it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, and they should. Like, if he's not 100%, this is the game to sit him because you got the bye week next week. Let him get 2 weeks rest.
100%.
Oh, it's even here's one from your boy Clarence Hill Jr. Fucking Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, sidelined with torn MCL. Whatever. Anyway, more to the point where I was getting to. I mean, we're going up against the Bears. The three of us could be their starting wide receivers for Chicago. That is. So this probably is a really good week. To the same idea that it's safe to sit Zeke. It's going to be probably safe to get Kelvin Joseph some snaps. I don't even know if they start or not start, but activate Nahshon Wright. Let these dudes get snaps. I'm sure this is a game they could afford to see them get some action. I doubt that'll happen.
I'd be interested to see if he even if he plays, is Damone Clark, linebacker.
They activated
him
today,
activated
right?
Or we're going to activate him, yeah.
Activate him, or else he would have been they need some help with some linebackers, and they've been okay, but
yeah, I just wonder. I hope they're not rushing him back. Not that they're hurting for their rookie linebacker to start getting snaps, but the dude had fucking spinal fusion surgery, right? And they were yeah, just don't plan on this dude playing in his rookie year, and now all of a sudden he's playing in week 8 or 10. Yeah, it's just way ahead of the original schedule, which is great. I mean, if he's obviously 100%, which I would like to think he is amazing, not just for him but for the team. But it's man, what are the chances of him being 2-3 months ahead of schedule? I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. From what I was hearing and reading, it was ever since he got in the building after he was drafted, he's been a sponge. Been with rehabbing every single day, and then a sponge in the linebacker room, just soaking it all in. So
I hope his fucking spine is a sponge, dude, because he's gonna get fucking plowed on.
I mean, with that type of surgery, I don't think they would rush him out there, especially since he was a second round, end of first round type player they got in the 5th round, I think this was a long-term pick anyways. And if he's ready ahead of schedule, then good for him.
I'd be shocked if he plays this weekend, and I'm not even sure if it has anything to do with him not playing. Who are they going to sit?
Gifford.
Yeah, I mean I guess he's the obvious choice or whatever, but he plays special teams. So does Clark automatically take his spot on the special teams? That's something that you got to. I mean, they trust Gifford to play special teams.
That's one of the things I heard was he on his one of his first days there, he went right up to Fossil and said, "What can I do to make this team or whatever?" So I mean,
I wonder, like, that's obviously a good thing, but I just wonder if that starts him off as getting on to the active roster, but still being not dressed for a couple of weeks, and eventually I don't, we're not in practice, so I don't see, what's going on, how exactly everything's going, what's what really,
Stash.
I don't know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna fucking ask something else. Just random thoughts. Stash, did you actually watch the whole game, or just like?
Yeah.
Did you see? Will, how much of it did you see? Did you just see like highlights afterwards, or?
No, I did see a good portion of the game.
Did you see Sam Williams suplex the dude in the fucking backfield?
Yeah.
I can't believe that was not a penalty.
Or it's not a penalty. I mean,
well, it was on a running back, so
still unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, that was like.
So here's my. I mean, what they call it, whatever they call it on the field, whatever. But let me just ask you something, right? If he does this, okay, and then like he's halfway taken aback, and then the dude breaks the tackle because he let up because he didn't want unnecessary roughness, and then he somehow gets like a 50-yard, you know what I mean, like a big gain or whatever.
That doesn't apply here. I mean, he picked him up off the ground and slammed him, right?
Yeah,
like he could have just held him there, right?
The
dude wasn't going anywhere.
He said he didn't know it was a rule. He didn't know
that
he could do that.
That was as much of a penalty as the roughing the passer that was called on Parsons.
I don't know. Steve's not believing that.
Hold on. What did I say about that penalty? Please.
No, I'm just saying it's in the same sort of thing where by rule it's a penalty.
Yes.
But if you're throwing a penalty on that on either one of those, that's soft.
The suplex, no, the suplex would have been well warranted. I mean, you don't. That's not something that happens every week, man. This ain't the WWE.
No, I'm saying if you're flagging that either way, that's soft. Neither of those should be penalties. Suplex people as much as you want. If you're
I mean, I'm all for it as a fan.
If you're strong enough to lift up a grown man and suplex him, do it.
Yeah, what's the Detroit team saying in the locker room? Like, hey, bro, you just got tuned up. They just WWF'd you.
So
they hit you with the Papa Shango in the backfield, dude. What are you gonna do with that?
Papa Shango. What's worse? Here's a question, because this is the past 2 weeks. Getting suplexed, or being Dallas Goedert and like pointing out a penalty, Micah Parsons for like talking
the
shit.
Dallas Goedert thing for sure.
I agree. Yeah, honestly.
I mean, because
you don't want to be going into that locker room in either one of those instances.
I wouldn't want to be suplexed either, but at the same time, like if everybody like took it serious for 10 seconds, you're playing against world-class athletes at almost every position, if not every position, right? Like the same way. I don't know who's Sam Williams actually suplexed, but I'm sure the dude he suplexed could suplex him if the role was reversed, right? Like these,
Well, so it would be one thing if Sam Williams was like a corner and did it, because then that's like even worse. But he is significantly bigger than a running back.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that definitely could happen. But you know what I mean? Like if it was like, what if that was Anthony Brown came in there to that? Then they would never hear the end of it. They'd how it's forever.
Trade him.
No, get him out of here.
Yeah, this guy can't play fucking football. He's getting suplexed by fucking 180-pound fucking midgets.
Yeah, right. Fast midgets.
Yeah,
So.
jeez. Stash, what did you have for me?
Okay, I'm.
Is this an appropriate time for this?
Yeah, it's fine. because it's about the game
Okay.
or this whole season.
I'm
Are
excited.
you ready to admit
No.
Oh no.
that you were wrong about Cavante Turpin?
No. And
how he's a problem.
I'm not wrong. I will go back and clip the video we did. You guys said that other teams would game plan for Cavante Turpin. We have yet to see teams do that. They are still kicking to him. He is still returning the ball. Newsflash, he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Newsflash, teams are not game planning for Cavante Turpin, so I'm right. I don't care what you guys
He's
say.
the best returner in the league, man.
I never said he wasn't. You
you're right.
You guys are just creating this fantasy fantasy land where I said he was trash.
He is proving Will and I right, because soon enough teams will not be kicking to him.
Okay, but that hasn't happened yet. And all I've ever said is that teams are not going to game plan for him, and you guys did. So I don't get why you're trying to call me out right now.
I'm giving you a chance to get ahead of it and just admit you're wrong.
No.
Good wrong.
I like it.
I mean, the closest he got to scoring a touchdown, he ran into the fucking back of his own guy. So if anything, he's a fucking idiot. Just saying.
He almost scored a touchdown like the past 3 weeks.
Nope.
The closest he got in his game against the Lions, right? Didn't he run into like CJ Goodwin's? But he ran into somebody's back.
He did, yeah.
Granted,
he
I
was
guess
trying to avoid the last tackle.
Whatever.
I think he turned into him, right?
Something.
Just saying.
That's not the point. It's neither here nor there.
You're right. The point is the teams aren't game planning for him. He's not a threat. It's not a threat until he scores a touchdown. Maybe they will then, but until that happens, I don't know what you want from me.
Fair enough.
I'm sticking by it.
You gonna give him the other one, Stash, or what that we talked about,
Hit me.
Okay.
Bring Rush back.
Two things for you, and we'll go with the low hanging fruit.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
What letter grade, would you give Dak Prescott in game 1?
In game
this
1?
This game back. Game 1 back.
Oh, okay. That's different. Yeah, good thing you clarified that.
No, first game back.
Like in respect to his gameplay, like just the Lions game, or like across the league, like how he played.
Just the Lions game.
He was the third best quarterback in the NFL, by the way.
I would actually, I think maybe not unpopular opinion, but probably closer to unpopular than popular opinion. I think he had a pretty good game. B plus ish.
Okay. You're higher than me.
I think people. So he had 2 drops, right? He was 19 of 25, right? And he had 2 drops. So assume those were caught. That's 21 of 25. A lot of people are hitting him on he threw into triple coverage and to CD, which is questionable, right? It was undoubtedly triple coverage, but it was a fucking dime. Like
Michael Irvin would have caught that.
Who?
The real 88, Michael Irvin.
Oh, yeah. I was getting ready to say had CD so. I think I heard on
He didn't if he goes up, he was just running straight. He was waiting for that ball to hit him in stride.
I think I heard Broadus. I think I heard Broadus say maybe CD was a little surprised he threw the ball because he wasn't triple coverage, right? But if CD throws his hands up, he probably catches that ball because it was on target. So if CD's paying attention, that's 23 of 25. Yeah, I mean Dak had a good game. It was rusty. It was a slow start, but I think everybody expected that to happen, or should have expected that to happen after 6-7 weeks off, whatever the fuck it was. Essentially no preseason. Timing definitely looked off at spots. Again, expected, and I think you account for that. But yeah, I would say a B or B plus. It wasn't exciting by any means, but I mean he did what he was asked to do, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had him in the B minus range. I think we were between B and C plus when we were talking about it off stream. But yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I think it was a good start. Obviously, he was a little amped up. That first throw was a little high. Still should have been caught.
I mean, yeah, it still should have been caught. I don't really get. And people are like, yeah, man, he's throwing the ball was off target. Like it hit Noah Brown had 2 hands on it. Like he needs to make that catch.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Noah Brown catch, the Michael Gallup should have caught that one.
Yeah.
So
could it have been placed better? Yeah, absolutely. So can almost every other fucking ball thrown in the NFL.
He missed it by a foot.
I think that's I don't know the number, but we could look it up. I'm sure. Whatever. I would say the Cowboys are probably pretty high on the drop from the
I
receivers
would say
drops in
so.
the league, right?
I'd assume so, yeah.
But I think like what I took out of that was, and granted it was against the Lions, who like one of the worst defenses in the league, but they were coming off a bye, so that usually helps your team. Coming off a bye, you can sure things up, but Dallas was a lot better on third down than they have been previously in the previous, probably the whole season. So that was encouraging to see.
Agreed.
Besides being dumb on 3rd and 1 twice and trying to run it outside and up the gut.
So
Yeah,
I heard interesting on that. What about the fact that they were just trying to show some, not that they were trying to not have their best stuff on tape or whatever, but try to throw some variations so other teams will see it. I mean, when they did the toss outside on 3rd and 1 or whatever, that they never do that. I mean, Detroit did play it perfect though, so they had to have known that that was a chance, because if they haven't done it at all and Detroit played it perfect, they must have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those thoughts are nice, but when have we seen Kellen Moore actually like think like that and call plays like that?
Hold up. My head's about to explode. You guys are worried about this pitch on 3rd and 1 that Kellen Moore's calling, but nobody's going to talk about the fucking reverse this dude calls every game for no goddamn reason that loses 8 to 10 yards?
Yeah, that's
I mean, stats don't even tell me it's giving the other team something to think about, because I've been thinking about it for years and it hasn't worked yet.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I'm like, there's no rhyme or reason, because there's got to be something. There's got to be another play in the playbook that like off of that reverse, or like a fake reverse or something that they never show. Like
Man,
there's no
that play worked once,
like,
and it was when Des Bryant was around, and that was just because he was left-handed and he could throw out of the backfield rolling to the left.
That was.
I mean, when they wasted that play on week 18, right before the playoffs, or week 6.
I don't remember when it was. It was a touchdown though, wasn't it? Des DeWitt.
Yeah, blowout against the Giants.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, hasn't worked since then.
So do they? I mean, it's tough too, because do you show a bunch of plays out of that formation and then just have the enemy defense ready for all of them, but they still have to guess, or do you only show them a couple things and you do have these in your bag that in a big game you're willing to call them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm wondering, because you're right. I mean, he's not dumb. He definitely has plays in there. You know what I mean? But when are we going to see him is a whole different story, right?
I mean, you have to show him.
Well, how come they're not then, though? You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. That's a good
I'm
question.
Not an offensive coordinator. But they did show that. I mean, they ran the same play 4 times in a row on the goal line. The fucking strong formation, 2 backs, tight end motioning to the right. They ran it up the middle 3 times, and then finally on the 4th time they did a play action for the touchdown. But I mean, that was like I would really like to know what that was. Was like that thing? Was that Kellen Moore thinking it was funny to run the same play, 4 times in a row? Granted, you could have 3 or 4 different options with the 2 tight ends, or handing it off to 2 different backs, or even I'm sure a quarterback sneak there if needed. But it was almost ignorant as well, considering the first 3 times they did it, nothing. They got nothing out of it.
Yeah, I just wonder that if they were specifically working on something. Maybe. I know it's the same stuff, but I mean, like even on the on the actual pass play, the touchdown. Do you think that they just didn't want to get like Dak 1 touchdown in the game back? You know what I mean?
I think so.
I'm sure that came up, yeah, right. Like it's not. They had to have known, like, oh yeah, let's get our boy a touchdown in this game back. But I'm sure there were other factors in it, right? Like I'm sure they were also thinking, like, hey, like we can get several different looks out of this one play.
Right.
So I'm sure both factored into it.
Okay.
Steve, I got another question for you. This is more of a theoretical question.
I like it.
If I told you,
oh boy,
here we go,
that Tyron Smith was going to come back and play this year.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Like guaranteed, 100%.
Yep. I'm ready for this.
Would you move Tyler Smith to left guard right now?
Do I know when he's coming back? Can I narrow?
I
Can
don't
you?
know.
You need to narrow that window down, right? Because if you're telling me it's guaranteed he's coming back, is that week
Week
18 he's
15,
coming back or week 12?
week 15, week 14 or 15 in that range.
So that depends on
But
more than Tyler Smith, right? So that also depends on Jason Peters,
yeah,
because
Hmm.
so if you could guarantee Tyron Smith was going to come back healthy, then yes, I would have for more than fucking 2 games. I would be okay with moving Tyler Smith back to left guard if and only if Jason Peters can play left tackle. But if you don't have a stable left tackle, then I mean, you're just moving where your hole in the offensive line is, and quite honestly, I'd rather my hole be a left guard than left tackle.
Okay.
And with Matt
Well,
Farniak being hurt, not that Matt Farniak is a savior, that's just another issue of depth at offensive line, which makes that even harder. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of caveats to that, but so in
Yeah, I mean,
general,
granted,
sure, assuming you have a left tackle that's not drooling on himself.
I don't think he's ever coming back. So
Peters or Smith?
Smith, Tyron Smith.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Obviously not a doctor, but I mean, dude. They said his hamstring tore from the fucking bone, like, and he didn't get surgery for. I don't know. I assume something like that needs surgery, like they just like tie it up in there or
sounds like
something.
it,
But
right?
apparently
Yeah.
it just goes back to normal. I have no fucking clue. Um, but there's a lot of. I mean, I assume you asked this question. There has been a lot of chatter in various Dallas Cowboys sources that there is the thought to putting Tyler Smith at left guard and Jason Peters at left tackle in preparation for when Tyron Smith does come back. So somebody
Yeah,
out there with some credibility thinks Tyron Smith's coming back.
yeah. I heard it somewhere, and I thought it was an intriguing thing, just because you want. It's more of a down the road thinking, long term, because you're trying to get ready for the playoffs. You want to make sure Tyler Smith has as many reps at left guard going into the playoffs as he can possibly have. And like you said, it's all, can Peters play left tackle, and can he play left tackle for multiple games?
Yeah, and I would get wild and even say, and Will's not gonna like to hear this. So if it's like week 18 and Tyron Smith's not back, or he can come back in week 18,
Yeah.
and Tyler Smith is playing okay, or he's playing at the rate he's playing now, so good enough. Put Tyron Smith at left guard. I don't know. I mean I'm just not moving my left tackle who's played the last 18 weeks at least an average level, if not higher. And I'm not fucking that up before the playoffs, especially if the defense is playing at an extremely high level, and I think Dallas thinks they have a chance to win the Super Bowl based on the defense. I'm not moving my left tackle.
What I mean, what if if Tyler Smith goes into left guard and Tyron Smith is their left tackle for the game, what if they're both upgrades over their current position?
They are from a talent point of view, right? But like, I mean, we've even seen Mike McCarthy say it. We're not playing fantasy football with the offensive line. It's not about getting the 5 best guys out there. It's about getting the 5 guys out there who are currently playing the best. So if Tyler Smith is my best left tackle at the time, I'm keeping him at left tackle.
So then what is the point, if any, of even talking about the pot? Like, why wouldn't they just say, hey, man, Tyron Smith, just don't, just hang it up, bro. There's no point even
Because
thinking about it in case there's an injury or something.
Well, I mean,
And then
by
they
the
do need
time we
him.
get to week 18, we would have had 3 different starting left guards. Tyron Smith being the fourth, obviously if that was the case, right? So we've gone through Farniak, we've gone through fucking McGovern, we've tried Peters. Peters might never come back, right? So the left guard is literally a revolving door. Left tackle has not been, at least within this season.
Like, just what's one more left guard? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
This is my take on it. If you're guaranteeing me Tyron Smith is coming back healthy, I'm moving him. I'm moving Tyler Smith over to left guard and saying, okay, let's go get it. Because, and I brought this up to Will, I'm learning from my mistakes. And there was 2 of them.
Okay.
1991.
Oh,
Stash was 3.
Yep.
Steve Berline, you talking about?
Yep. Steve Berline. The Cowboys rode with Steve Berline in the playoffs because he was the hot hand over Pro Bowl Troy Aikman.
Oh, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman.
Oh, I'm saying he was a Pro Bowler that season.
That's it.
But
You're right.
coming up, Cowboys lost in the playoffs that year. And then good old
Hold up.
2016.
Okay, I'm listening.
Cowboys decided to roll with rookie Dakota Prescott over Tony Romo because Dak had a Pro Bowl season, his first one. And what happened? They went and lost in the playoffs.
Hold up. So you're trying to tell me if
I'm
Cooper
trying to
Rush
tell you,
if you trying to tell me if Cooper Rush beat the Eagles, you would have stuck with the hot hand? Because that's what I
no,
said.
I'm saying you go with the
Better player?
The hot hand.
better player. You go with the Pro Bowler. You go with the guys that win championships. The best players win you championships. You don't leave them on the bench.
Is Dak a Pro Bowler? Was he last year?
I think he has been.
He's been there like
I
twice,
feel
2
like
or
he
3
was an
times.
alternate or something stupid last year.
Everybody's a Pro Bowler,
Yeah.
basically.
They're getting away with that shit anyway. So
Yeah, you're right. They are. You're right.
you don't leave your best players on the bench. That's all I'm saying. So if he's 100% healthy,
Man, he was 100% healthy last year. I mean, we have been witnessing the decline of Tyron Smith when he's healthy. I'm not saying he's not a turnstile, but like he's not the same left tackle he was 4 years ago. Obviously, right? Like you could say that about everyone who's played football in the last 4 years. Usually they were better 4 years ago, but like you guys make it seem like he's going to come back and be this otherworldly left tackle when he's probably not going to be. He'll be a good left tackle, but like
he'll be better than Tyler Smith.
I think you're assuming he's going to be, and that's a dangerous assumption considering Tyler Smith is at least actively playing football.
What if he comes back? Like what did Stash say? Week 12, and what if he comes back and he's just solid week 12, 13 he's solid, and then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 he's getting better and better and better. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, yeah, I said before if you could tell me he was, I think we said week 15, but yeah, week 12,
okay.
no different,
Okay.
right? Like at that point, then yeah, I would be willing to kick Tyler Smith in. I would be willing to do it now, week 8, if I knew Jason Peters could survive the next 3 weeks, which is only 2 games or whatever the fuck.
Right.
But yeah, if there's one game left for the playoffs, or it is the playoff game, then yeah, I wouldn't be okay with it. But I also don't make the decisions, so.
Okay.
Don't fix it if it ain't broken for one game, I guess. Bears game? Or do you guys have anything else? Do you have any more brain busters there, fucking Joshua?
Good.
Brain buster.
I'm good.
I just got really excited there.
That's okay. Just like got excited for that fucking Sam Williams suplex. Yeah, I guess other than the things we already mentioned, which were some of the cornerback play or snap counts and whatnot, and we.
You know who we haven't mentioned yet?
I don't. Besides Mike
Parsons,
but
the trade.
Oh yeah. Take it away, Stash. Since you brought it up. What all happened with that?
Well, was it yesterday? The Dallas Cowboys acquired defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins from the Las Vegas Raiders for a 6th-round pick, and they also received a 7th back in 2024. So he's a big boy, 6'3", I think, 6'4", 340 pounds. So
yeah, he's sloppy.
In the most respectful way.
Yeah, he's what our young William's been calling for many moons. A nice big fat man in the middle of the defense. So.
Yeah, I think think there's no downside to this at all. I think that they basically just swapped picks in order to take a chance on a veteran. I mean, obviously he's not 24-year-old Jonathan Hankins fresh out of Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they wouldn't have traded for him, if they didn't think that he can come in and at least be an upgrade for 15, 20 snaps a game, right?
Yeah.
So, because we were kind of talking about this too, is that like, he's probably going to take. But we were talking about that we need to switch. We need to look up the breakdown of the stats. We could probably guess how many snaps he would probably get. But having him in there and being able to healthily, have a backup for Bohanna, or he's a starter and Bohanna's the backup, and then you just pushed back, somebody else, whatever. They're just not dressing.
Yeah, actually, I just wonder, do you dress both him and Bohanna, right? Because they both fill the same role.
I think so.
Yeah.
Who are you pushing down then? I know you'd mentioned Golston or Hill, right? But
Neville Gallimar's on the outs. I mean, I guess reportedly he's removed all the Dallas Cowboys stuff from his social media pages. So
the only problem with that though is that he was already not like he didn't dress last week, right? So somebody off of last week's roster would have to come off if they wanted to, It
would probably be maybe Carlos Watkins.
Yeah,
him or Hill, right? Like I said, or whatever.
Yeah, but Hill's been playing pretty well too.
Yeah.
You kind of just. I think it's Bohanna. I don't know. Obviously, I guess we'll find out.
I think Bohanna's part of the rotation, so.
I think Hankins is about to be a part of the rotation.
Well, yeah, I get.
He's a better player than Bohanna. He is an upgrade, at least from what people around the.
Career-wise, he definitely is. I just don't know if that's true now. I mean, yes, the Raiders aren't good, and he's falling out of whatever their rotation because he only played like 18% of the snaps. I think I heard last week, or whatever the case may be. But so did Dontari Poe. You know what I'm saying?
I just sent you the defensive snaps. So.
Yeah, I just don't think. Granted, like you said, it was only a 6th-round pick they gave up for this, and they did more or less swap picks, right? They got a 7th in return. I don't think they make this trade if they don't see him, like quote unquote starting whatever a nose tackle starts as. It seems like logically it makes the most sense that he just takes Bohanna's spot.
Oh, I agree. I think he's playing 100%. He is going to be on the field.
Looking at this, the defensive tackle played the least amount of snaps was Tristan Hill. But
They're filling 2 separate roles, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but how many 3 techniques can they carry? I just wonder if Golston doesn't play because they have him listed as a defensive end, but I know he lines up on the inside too. So, what is it? Which is it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. It's just I just really like to see that they're just
being proactive.
Yeah, literally, what's the worst that could happen?
Oh yeah, I don't think there is a downside to this. Like you'd already said. This is all upside. If not, they break even, right? Or I don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, they lose basically like I would assume it's probably like 40 picks-ish, like in value, you know what I'm saying, from one round to another, and the Raiders are bad compared to the Cowboys at this point being, a playoff team, Yep. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. They got some work to do. I just like that they're trying. That's basically what it comes down to is I like that they're trying to add.
Yeah, it was exciting to see a trade, I guess. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I guess let's move into the Bears game, I guess, real quick. Unless you guys have anything else for that, of course, feel free to stop me.
Oh, damn.
Otherwise, do you have anything for the Bears game?
I expect to win.
Yeah, the Monday night game doesn't change.
Yeah, to me at all. Yeah, not at all. They run the ball a lot, but that's because they can't throw the ball. And so the running the ball could be a little scary against the Cowboys defense, but And
Why you got Jonathan Hankins?
that, or you just commit a little bit more to the box and just be sure, I don't know, man. Justin Fields ain't beating him with the arm.
No, you got to worry about him beating you with the legs.
Yeah, and I think this is another game like we saw last year. Dallas needs to get up early, right? Like there should be no more Dax fucking knocking the rust off bullshit you had last week. They need to get up early to try to force the Bears into passing situation. Get the Bears behind early so they have to pass to make it more advantageous for the defense. Easier said than done, I guess, of course. But that's when we saw them have success against Detroit, right? Going into the fourth quarter when they started scoring points, the defense was able to just fucking tee off and force fumbles and interceptions. So
Deuce needs to stop trying Trayvon Diggs. He's just going to pick up a ball every game.
Just keep trying him.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Try and break records. Records out here.
Records.
Records. All right, okay. You're funny, man.
Yeah, that's me. Tua.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think that I think this is another game where Micah Parsons could just play linebacker a little bit more, man, and just have him be the spy. I mean, you want him to still be aggressive from the defensive line, but if he plays linebacker for the most of the game, Justin Fields is not going to hurt them running the ball.
That was actually I'm actually kind of glad you said that because I had not really a random thought, but when I was thinking of the Hankins trade earlier today, I was wondering, assuming they don't knock down Bohanna to the practice squad or just not dress him, whatever that looks like, they could do Dorrance Armstrong, Bohanna, Hankins, Tank, and leave Micah at linebacker. That could be a really, like, an incredibly strong first down unit, or other situations, but that would pretty much cover their bases up the middle and on the edge with all of their all-stars.
That would make me happy.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw something like that. It would be really interesting to see just two fat guys in the middle as opposed to the traditional 1 and a 3 tech. But we'll see. Just thinking out loud.
What I'm interested to see, and this depends on if he's healthy, is something along the lines of Dorrance, Tank at the 3 technique, Bohanna or Hankins at the 1, Micah at left edge, and then if he's healthy, I mean, everything I've heard, Damone Clark and middle linebacker, and let's go. And LVE at linebacker. Good luck.
Man, it would surprise me a whole hell of a lot if he plays this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if he does, it's got to be special teams, right? There's no way he takes defensive snaps.
I mean, even at all.
Yeah.
I don't know that they will, right? Like, I think, I hope, man. I'd hate to see a young guy's career get fucking crushed. That could happen to anyone, spinal fucking surgery in the off season or not. But just give him through the fucking bye week. If he's ready to go, just give him 2 more weeks. What's the fucking rush?
What does it say about Jabril Cox if Jabril Cox can't get on the field, but then Damone Clark, who might, broke his backiotomy, you know what I'm saying? He comes back early and he's on the field taking defensive snaps before Cox is.
Says he's better. I don't know. All right, guys. I'm heading on out.
Scramming. Okay. Yeah, we can head out on that note. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck the podcast.
We'll come back another time.